right now on News Channel 8 at 11.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Rod Carter.
And I'm Melanie Michael. Thank you for joining us tonight.
We begin with breaking news tonight. A motorcyclist just arrested for crashing into a deputy in Pinellas County. The major accident investigation team responded to that crash, which was at 75th Avenue in St. Pete Beach. Mark Spafford is now charged with felony DUI, fleeing and eluding, and disorderly intoxication. The deputy was not injured in that crash. You can download our free News Channel 8 app for updates on this story and other breaking news alerts that will come directly to your mobile device.
New information tonight about a fire that killed one woman and has a man fighting for his life at this hour. Investigators have been in Plant City all day long trying to figure out how this fire started.
News Channel 8's Chip Osowski is live there for us tonight. And Chip, has a cause of this fire been determined just yet?
Not at this point, Rod. Investigators tell me they do not believe foul play was involved. But that being said, they spent all morning and afternoon out here collecting evidence to make sure that that is the case. For most of the day, deputies kept the media a block away from the fire scene as investigators collected evidence. Fire crews responded to the home on Candy Cane Lane around 2 o'clock this morning. A man was able to escape the mobile home. A woman was not. Neighbors did what they could to help.
The guy was freaking out. He was just saying, there's somebody in there, there's somebody in there. And we tried and we tried to tell him if there was another door or something, some other window we can get in, but we just couldn't.
A friend of the woman told me there was no power to the mobile home and she was using candles and lanterns for light. That's how the fire started, according to the survivor.
This is, again, preliminary. Initially was that he was involved in refueling some type of lantern, some type of lighting equipment, and it caught fire, which sparked the combustion of the entire trailers.
While sheriff's deputies have yet to release the names of those involved, Jerry Henderson believes he knew the woman.
She must have laid down, and somehow something got kicked over or something other and set the fire. I don't know. I'm just shooting at the wind here.
And back live, you can see there's a makeshift memorial in front of the mobile home where the woman lost her life. The victim's friend told me that this mobile home had been foreclosed upon, and the woman was planning on packing up her belongings and moving out later today. Rod?
All right, Chip Osowski reporting live in Plant City. Chip, thank you.
New tonight, we now know the names of two 16-year-old boys who were shot to death just minutes apart in Tampa. Akeem Boswell was shot last night on North 17th Street. Then Jamelin Turner was shot and killed on West Virginia Avenue. Now, so far in the investigation, homicide investigators spent all day trying to figure out what happened to Turner, and they still haven't released much information about Boswell's death. But they do tell News Channel 8 that 3 teenagers were in the backyard here when gunfire rang out.
He was undergoing surgery at Tampa General Hospital for the gunshot wound, and during surgery, he expired.
Authorities found witnesses nearby, and they are cooperating in the investigation, although one of them has reportedly asked for an attorney. At this point, they do not know if this is an accidental shooting, a suicide, or another murder.
Tonight, a massive manhunt is over. 20-year-old Jeffrey Williams is charged with shooting 2 police officers outside of the Ferguson Police Department. Police arrested Williams for the shooting after a 3-day manhunt and many tips from the community. Now, according to investigators, Williams claims the officers were not his intended target, that he was in a dispute with others.
It's possible at this point that he was firing shots at someone other than the police, but struck the police officer. So the charge is still assault in the first degree.
The suspect, who shot a handgun, which has been recovered, was across the street from the police department. He hit the officers, who had since been treated and released from the hospital. Police believe Williams acted alone. The officers were shot early Thursday after a demonstration following the resignation of Ferguson Police Chief Tom Jackson. For San Francisco, police officers are being reassigned tonight after racist and homophobic text messages went public. Those texts, full of slurs and insults, were released during a bail hearing for a former officer convicted of corruption. All 4 officers have now been reassigned to positions with no public contact.
A man who's made millions in real estate is arrested this weekend accused of murder, and tonight, a documentary about Robert Durst is airing on HBO. Well, now a website is suggesting the show may have persuaded authorities to connect the dots.
If you back him in a corner, if you threaten his freedom, he'll kill you.
Producers for the website Jinx are making a bold claim. that investigators believe Robert Durst knows exactly what happened to his wife, Kathy, when she disappeared back in 1982. The documentary explores the possibility that a friend of Robert's was murdered because she also knew what happened to Kathy Durst. Durst himself is no stranger to controversy. The millionaire was charged in 2003 for the murder and dismemberment of a neighbor in Galveston, Texas.
Will the jury find the defendant, Robert Durst, not guilty?
Robert Durst claims he acted in self-defense, and a jury acquitted him in that case. By the way, an extradition hearing is set for tomorrow in New Orleans. Durst's attorney promises his client will fight these charges. Rod?
All right, Mel, a drag racer walks away from a very scary crash in Gainesville going 280 miles an hour. Jason Jennings is joining us now with this unbelievable video. Jason.
Rod, you hear the term lucky to be alive thrown around a lot, but after this frightening crash, Larry Dixon, he truly is. As his car hits 280 miles an hour, it splits in half. The rear portion, holding the cockpit and engine, goes airborne some 20 feet and crashes into a wall. The nose of the car flies about 30 feet before landing behind the rear portion. Amazingly, Dixon, who's a 3-time National Hot Rod Association champion, was not hurt. Coming up later on Sunday Sports Extra, it took more than 72 holes today to find a winner at the Valspar Championship in Palm Harbor. I'll show you how it all went down.
All right, Jason, thank you very much. A man is dead tonight, hit and killed while crossing the street in Pasco County. The Florida Highway Patrol tells us he was walking on Denton Avenue at the intersection of Little Road. 70-year-old Salvatore Desiderio had a green light when he drove into the intersection. However, that pedestrian was crossing. Desiderio hit the victim, who died at the scene. 2 people died in another crash, this one in Hudson. The Florida Highway Patrol tells us 30-year-old Joshua Stalker hit a motorcycle on US 19 at New York Avenue. Stalker's vehicle pushed that motorcycle out into the intersection. The man and woman on the motorcycle died at the scene.
Tonight, the caregiver of a 4-month-old baby is out of jail. The infant died while the woman was babysitting. Deputies report Vivian Gray was watching Chloe Murad in Dunedin when it happened. And when the family called, the caregiver told them, according to cops, she left the apartment and that Chloe was dead. Right now, autopsy results are pending. Meanwhile, Vivian Gray is charged with felony child neglect. Well, tonight we have an update on a Tampa dog who has won our hearts. She was found tied to railroad tracks with gunshot wounds, but Cabela beat the odds, and now we're happy to report she's in foster care. Tampa Bay Veterinary Emergency Service has been taking care of Cabela, and the location of her foster care, we're told, is protected for her safety. Meanwhile, 4 men were arrested in this case accused of abusing Cabela. 2 of them are teenagers.
A lot of questions tonight for Jeb Bush after a report indicates he used a private email account while serving as the governor of the state of Florida. This is an issue, of course, that's dogged Hillary Clinton for weeks now. The Washington Post reports that Bush used that account to discuss security and military issues, including Florida National Guard troop deployments after the 9/11 attacks. Bush aides claim none of those emails contained any sensitive or classified information, and many of the events were documented in news reports. And here is what's happening this week at the state capitol. Legislation being considered includes a tax cut on cell phone and cable TV service, allowing concealed carry on college campuses, and prohibiting drones from taking pictures on private property without consent.
All right, take a look at the corner of this screen at today's Innisbrook PGA Tournament. That is Special Operations U.S. Paracommandos based out of MacDill landing in the middle of the fairway. It was quite the moment. News Channel 8's Lauren Make shows us how the Purple Heart recipient pulled it off.
Good evening. The training these folks go through can be used for covert military ops. But in this case, these jumps are meant to thrill an audience. I went to one of the pros to find out what it takes.
This view from above isn't from a plane or a helicopter. It's from a U.S. Special Operations Paracommando coming in for a precise landing at a college football stadium.
It wasn't until after Atlanta that I noticed that there was 85,000 screaming people.
Sergeant First Class Kyle Margolovsky is a Bronze Star with Valor and Purple Heart recipient. We went up to the roof of the news center to get some perspective on the elite demonstration team.
How high are you when you jump?
We'll be jumping from 5,000 feet today.
Each jump is a little different.
Say Bank of America building, we'll stack I'd say 3 more on top of that.
The team has more than 20 members, but the number jumping at a time can vary.
Come down, flying over the target where you want to land between 300 and 500 feet, and then that's where you're judging the winds and lining up your final approach.
How are you steering?
You have toggles that are attached to your steering line. Steering toggles are attached to the rear corners of your canopy.
So how small of a target can they hit? Depends on the day, he tells me.
I would like to think on a good day I could land on that table 10 times in a row, but that's a good day. And
Now, we didn't ask him to do that today, but he is trying to convince me to do a tandem jump with them. I'll let you know about that. In Tampa, I'm Lauren Make, News Channel 8.
I think she should do it.
If she wants to do it, please let us know so we're rolling cameras.
It seems exciting and scary all at the same time.
Terrifying and exhilarating.
Exactly.
All right, Lauren, we're daring you to do it, but let us know when you do.
Coming up after the break, News Channel 8 meteorologist Julie Phillips is going to join us with your work week forecast.
And in sports, Jason Jennings tees up highlights from the Valspar Championship in Palm Harbor today. It was a gorgeous day for it. Stay with us.